In Return of the Jedi, when Luke gives in to the pressure being applied by the Emperor and attempts to strike him down, Darth Vader blocks his son's attack. And while Vader's reason for doing this appears obvious, one theory suggests that rather than protecting the Emperor, Vader was actually shielding Luke from falling to the dark side, because if Luke had struck Sidious down, he would be giving into his hatred and thus be giving the Emperor exactly what he wanted. And while I do appreciate the creativity behind this theory, I've gotta tell you that if we think this through, it just doesn't really hold up. As their duel rages on from this moment, Darth Vader continually tries to turn Luke to the dark side, and so stopping Luke from solidifying his turn just moments before would have made no sense, especially since it would have eliminated Palpatine from the equation, which is something Vader would actually want because it would allow he and his son to rule the galaxy without interference from his master. The reason Vader protects Palpatine here is very simple. He is still loyal to Palpatine. Vader expresses his fear of his master's power and confirms his allegiance to Sidious before he and Luke enter the throne room, and Palpatine's lack of concern before Luke attacks him, as well as his smile after Luke attempts to kill him, tell us that he was fully anticipating Vader's support, and that is exactly what he got. As was the case throughout this movie, everything that took place did so as Palpatine foresaw it until the very end, when he became so caught up in torturing Luke that he lost track of his apprentice's changing heart and was ultimately betrayed. And a similar thing can be said about Vader, whose heart was not changed until his son's life was truly on the line, and Luke continued to call out for his father's help. This was the pivotal moment for Vader. Yes, there was building conflict before that, but Vader's allegiance to Palpatine was not relinquished until this moment. Now, there is the argument that Palpatine may have been preparing to perform essence transfer on Luke as he was going to do with Rey in The Rise of Skywalker, and Vader stopped Luke because of that, but given that Palpatine was still alive and well within his own real body in this movie, and that there was no mention of such a plan in this film, and that he didn't show any disappointment in Vader for foiling those plans here, I'd say the likelihood of that being the case is close to zero. Palpatine didn't need a new body at this point. His intention, along with Vader's, was simply to turn Luke to the dark side. Now, what each of their plans were after Luke's turn is up for discussion. Sidious would have been happy to replace Vader with the younger and healthier Skywalker boy, and Vader likely would have planned to overthrow Sidious with Luke at his side. But those possibilities are nothing more than figments of our imagination thanks to Luke, whose commitment to the light prevailed over the temptations of the dark side.